Hi, I'm Vidya. This is my husband Arun Venkit. We are here with our 7 children. We live in Coimbatore. And we came down here to have our 7th baby with Birthvillage. We've had 5 other babies before in an institution, 2 home births, sort of. One was definitely a home birth, but for 5th baby, we rented a room out with an institution to pretend it was a home birth. At that birth, I realized during labor and birth, women need women because there are certain things that we cannot speak, but women who understand natural birthing have a way of tapping into the mind of the woman about to give birth. So at my 5th baby's delivery, I told my husband Arun, for my next baby, I need to have minimum a doula. And then as soon as we found out we were pregnant with our 6th baby, he said, we have no other choice. We're going to Birthvillage. And I was surprised because a lot of reasons. But it took me a couple of months to decide. Arun was already decided. We are going to Birthvillage. So 2 months later, I was also at peace to join him in the decision. And then we contacted Priyanka and we came.
Well, the journeys, as far as I'm concerned, the journey started with our 4th kid, where we were considering the concept of the natural birthing. We have read a lot. Vidya did her reading, and I've been just looking into because she was so interested. See, the philosophy for me is like at the end of the day, she's the one who's carrying the baby, and my role would be to support her to the maximum possible level that I can go. So in that context, what I was doing was looking and reading upon natural birthing. But I mean, I would rather say we were like quite early on that. I couldn't quite figure things out, but yet I thought I would give her 100% support. So long story short, what happened was we ended up doing a home birth, and Vidya was guiding me, do this, do that. So I was just going and supporting her as exactly as she wanted. And then came the opportunity for a 5th child, whereas Vidya was sharing that we were kind of, I mean, we can say that, I mean, she put it well, like it's a pretense, of like a pretense of natural birthing. So that experience kind of gave me a conviction that I needed some professional support because I am not prepared to that extent, and I definitely needed a professional support. By then, we already heard about Birthvillage, and we had actually visited once with Priyanka, and so that kind of gave me I mean, enough and more support or sort of confidence. Yeah, I would say, yeah, sort of confidence. So I decided in my heart when the news of the 6th baby came up, I just decided. I said, Vidya, nothing doing. We are just going to Birthvillage.
Midwifery for me, after having 5 babies, has been wonderful because of the respect and autonomy that we get to experience. Mainly, the way the midwives handle you with so much respect, and the autonomy that you get to choose. I'd like this, I'd like that. They don't consider you weird. They're not offended by your questions. They're very patient with all the chattering that you do. This kind of freedom you don't get in other uh, care centers. My 7th baby's labor, you have to talk to the midwife to know how how much of a drama it was in terms of the labor. But there was not a word of, what do you call it? No reproof. So when I think about my midwifery-led births, that moment of birth, I can always look back to it with joy. And at the other times, there was this discontent. There's something like it always felt like something was hijacked from me. because I had natural labors with my previous babies. Like out of seven, six babies were natural labors. I had labored at home. I knew the process, but and I'd gone in for the pushing. But at last minute, when the baby was just about to come out, that you always feel okay, that moment was snatched from you. But when you can compare that with the midwifery system, you it is like you were in the moment. It's more like you have a sense of joy. You can always look back to that moment with joy. It's not that snatched away feeling. My birth requirements were mainly autonomy. I wanted to do what the body dictated. Another thing I had, with my first three babies, I had been reading during the pregnancy and post birth. I used to read up a lot, and one thing which I kept finding was uh, people, midwives know how to prevent tears very well. So that was something which caught my eye.
With regards to the support or the professional support, what it really mattered to me, because I've got a context of an unassisted birth, rather like Vidya advising and me supporting. So compared to that, what I felt hugely relieved, I would say hugely relieved, is the support, or it's like I can lean on with a professional support. I did not think anything, any detail. You get to know the fetal monitoring. I mean, you feel that you are in the hands of an expert, so you know what is happening, and you feel, I would say, really confident and relaxed, stress-free sort of a thing. So I think that's where I would I mean I would rather say the professional support was always of huge help for us.
When the pandemic was on, we thought of honestly, I thought of a home birth. I was thinking, how am I going to travel all the way to Birthvillage and shift the family with the children, and everything looked like a lot of work to me. New set of dynamics when you find out you're carrying and you need to make a decision of where to birth your baby. I was very clear, I'm staying here, I'm not going anywhere, I'm just having the baby here. But Arun was like, no, we are not having a home birth. I cannot deal with the stress of it. We came down with our six kids. We're a homeschooling family. I don't know if I mentioned that before. So once the baby comes, I always promise them 100 days of holidays. So we needed to get a lot of school done before the baby came. So I didn't want them to be away this time. We sat together every day, did a lot of school shift. So for them, only the geographical location changed, but it was about being with your dad and mom and the same routine, what they did at home. And we tried to stick to the routine. That was the main thing about giving them a structure to feel normal. Only house had changed, and they were quite a blessing to me. It was it was so good to have them with me till the day of the birth. And when they on the eve of the birth also, when I told them we're having the baby tomorrow, and uh, they were singing, and in that, when listening to them talk, listening to their children sing together, and watching them play, or hearing them laugh, all that had it kind of heals me, it soothes me. I'm an alumnus of CMC Vellore. Biomechanics is a major paper. We had to it was a very important subject, and we were taught by very senior professors on the subject. But when I had my babies, I realized none of these principles were being used for birthing a baby, and that was quite disturbing. But midwifery, on the other hand, depended on biomechanics to birth a baby naturally. One advice I would give to people who are expecting is love yourself. Yeah. So there's this belief. I believe in this. Love your neighbor as yourself. So there's one thing. How do you love your neighbor if you don't love yourself? If so, there's one thing that you need to uh, do for the world at large by loving yourself. So when we love ourselves, it's easier to love others. If you have a natural birth, the way your hormones are handled, it's so different. There's a difference because you've had such a positive birth experience. You have loved yourself at the birth and post birth. You are happy in that experience. It's so much more easier to um, love the baby. When I say love the baby, it's not like I didn't love my other babies or anything, but the expressions of it comes out more easily because your body is more enabled to it. If you're pregnant, please think of natural birthing. Uh, there's a difference, I always say, between natural birth and normal birth. Normal birth is that which has been normalized over the past 200 years by institutions. So we may think it is, oh, I had a vaginal birth, it is a normal birth. We may think, but there is a difference between normal birth and natural birth.